Happy belated birthday, Sparky.
Thank you. So, today we have on the Cathedral of Gaming one of the, actually probably the most obscure thing in the Legend of Zelda franchise. This is the Legend of Zelda: The Ancient Stone Tablets.
The what?
And, well, if it looks like it's a ROM hack of A Link to the Past, that's because it essentially is. We'll get into more of that later. But the concept behind this is that this little game was for a service Nintendo had in Japan toward the late 90s called the Satellaview. And Nintendo teamed up with a satellite, I believe it was called Saint Gaia. And the idea was that you could download games, some exclusive like this one, or some of them were just, more convenient ways. I guess it was the first, downloadable game kind of thing for Nintendo, where you find in the store. And of all of them, and there weren't a whole lot of them, this is probably the most interesting one just by the virtue of the fact that it's Zelda.
Yeah,
And
understandable.
and the idea here is that each week, there were 4 weeks, and this is week one we're doing right now. Each week you would tune in, and you'd have to play when they would broadcast it, like any other TV program. And you download it to your system, and you play with all the other people across Japan, and you compete for the highest score, and it'll go on like a leaderboard of sorts. And during this, there would be live voice acting telling you about things that are happening in the game at certain times or where to go. So if you see the timer at the top, that's supposed to be in real time. And you'd have characters like Zelda or Knights of Hyrule, Sahasrahla, all kind of narrating like, there might be treasure in this room or go over here at this time because something's happening in South Hyrule or something like that. So during this whole thing, if you think like, how did he know to go there? Because I've played this before and I kind of know where things are, and you can like tap the walls and stuff or use the map because there's supposed to be hints to point out things that are not obvious.
So yeah, basically, there's a thing where you're supposed to have played it when it was broadcasting live, and like people were
Right.
talking over it, and you could hear them, or else, you can't really go back to it. Well, you weren't really supposed to go back to it, were you? Like this is
N-
all hacked within the translation, right?
right. It was the idea is that each week you have like two of these stone tablets to collect, and if you don't get them, you can go on to the next week, and all the vital things from the week before, like necessary items or the stone tablet you missed, will be given to you for the next week, so you can proceed, but you lose a score. So.
Ah, that makes sense.
Mm.
So that I actually like that. That's nice because it promotes competition, but also if you fuck up a week, then you're not screwed over for the rest of the
Right.
weeks. That's nice.
Fun for the whole family.
So
Laughs.
it's Sakurai. No. So it's two dungeons per week, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then is after the eighth dungeon, is it straight to the final boss then?
Yes. Week four
Okay.
has two dungeons plus the final boss.
All right.
And there's like a well, you'll see when we get there. But
Don't
this
ruin the surprise.
this is kind of this game is really unlike any of the other Zelda games because each like dungeon is like 10 to 15 minutes if that, and it's a lot of like this room, that room. There's not a whole lot of backtracking, and as you saw, we didn't start with a sword. You rely on the good bee, which is like the most obscure thing ever to protect you till you get the sword. So
I'm
it's
surprised it never made a return in any of the other Zeldas.
yeah, it's kind of it's memorable for the people who found the good bee in like all two of its locations. It's I think there are two,
That was a
but
damn good bee.
the best bee.
The only bee for me.
We do not talk about bee.
God damn it. See, like that wall there, you wouldn't have known to bomb that unless you had like
Right.
heard it
So,
or like
mhm,
just were very, very OCD with tapping all the walls.
mhm. And as you get further into this game, the like hidden walls tend to kind of go away because
Ah,
probably because you have more do since you have more items. But it's it's a unique little game, and you can beat the whole thing in about like 2 hours really if you skip the thing. And I cut after I did everything that there was to do or showing for the week. I cut out a lot of this because especially toward the end of each week, there's like cutscenes where you just see like this, sprites standing there while somebody's supposed to be talking, and they'll go on for like 5 minutes. So I cut that out, obviously. But it's the most interesting things involving character interaction, like for all like 3 times it happens during the actual gameplay part. So not
nice.
missing much.
That's understandable.
So this is pretty much
S-
just like a mini version of the Eastern Palace.
So do you go to pretty much every spot in Hyrule then? Because from what I understand, you can only access certain parts of Hyrule during each week, correct?
Right. And each week more and more opens up, and it's kind of the whole like the world map more or less looks the same except for the southeastern portion, which is just covered by this gigantic cloud. And it's kind of interesting. It really shows how they built this because there's actually a code. Maybe we'll make a video about it later because it's more fun to like see and mess around with. Is if you go past the boundaries of where you're supposed to with the week by hacking in or use like a game genie kind of thing, what any way you want to do it to get the items to kind of get past the blockade, you see parts of the Link to the Past map, and there's like all kinds of like weird enemies there and glitch stuff. And if you go into doors, you like wind up in this like black abyss. So it they literally did just like ROM hack Link to the Past to make this. This is an official ROM hack.
Yeah. So yeah, I always find that fun in games, like just like glitching out of the boundaries and stuff, and like seeing
Yeah.
weird stuff. Like Twilight Princess, you had that circle, that I don't even know what to call it. Like,
Still spinner thing,
yeah, the spinner,
little
and
gear.
you could seriously go out of the map with that in so many places if you bounced off a rock right or something. Actually, I actually know and what was it Ordon Village, the name of the place you start off in?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I know you can do a thing where like you have to throw a rock a specific way and then like sidestep off of it and then roll, and you can actually get through, like you can glitch through the gate in Ordon and like just leave the village super early. I always love that in Zelda. Like there's so much stuff that you can break the game with and stuff. It's so fun to mess around with.
And this game, like, there's like some things that just like look out of place here. Like toward the end, when you see your whole inventory thing fill up, there's like this gaping hole where the Book of Mador is supposed to go, but or no, not the Book of Mador. Was it that? Or was it the Magic Cave? It was
I
one of
have
those.
no clue.
And it's like there's just this hole. But I think it is the Magic Cave because you can actually, if you hack it in here, it works fine. Kind of interesting.
So it still exists within the code then, huh?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Another thing that, and that's what in this dungeon, but like the next dungeon, since there's not much interesting happening here, I'll go on about this now, I guess, is that because you only really stay in the light world for this, things from the dark world show up here, and you're fighting things from Dungeon 7 in the dark world where you only have like 5 hearts and stuff like that, so you have some kind of strange experiences with this.
That's pretty cool though. So yeah, this is almost like an official ROM hack then, if there's enemies where they shouldn't be and stuff like that.
Oh, and what if Zelda was a girl? I should explain this. The idea here is that you have this character is supposed to be you, and you could be a boy or a girl. I did a girl just because she has like pink hair, and there's a whole Link to the Past of pink hair joke. Plus
Yeah.
girl, but
I mean, look at
you
that
can
ass.
like, so yeah, pixel horizontal flipping ass.
Hmm.
But you can like select who you are and like you move around. These characters, like except with the Link shirt, they're the avatars in the main menu cartridge for the satellite thing too. So that's where these characters come from.
Ah.
And oddly enough, and I don't know if this really carries over with the new Hyrule Historia. I haven't looked at that much yet, even though I bought the book. Is that this actually does kind of fit into this, at least the storyline back in the 90s, is that this was supposed to happen directly after Link to the Past, while Link's Awakening is happening, I think. So like
Ah.
Link's off, and Link is not in Hyrule, and this new evil, whatever, or old evil, whatever comes, and this
And
random
you
hero
need to
happens to
deal with it.
appear. Right. So this happens, and hey, guess what you get to do? So that's kind of where this fits in, and honestly, this is not canon probably, but it could be. If you want to think it is, you could throw it in there, and it really wouldn't
Well, it
change
doesn't
it.
conflict with anything, does it?
No, it
And
fits in
yeah,
there really, really nice.
seems to be fairly standalone, honestly. Like, I don't think there's going to be any massive plot things that happen.
But you can get involved by making fan art because I've never seen fan art of this game. So
I noticed you clipped through the stairs a little bit there. Seems like they had a little tech issues here and there.
yeah, that happens a lot in this. The ladders in particular, like going up them, that happens a lot here. We found the bow.
Yay. spooky skeletons walking around.
The little like tassely enemy is like the most generic enemy ever. And it shows up a lot in this game.
Oh no, Cyclops. Bye, Cyclops. Had
Yeah.
some pot. I like to think if Link was, like, if he could speak, he would just make really stupid one-liners. More fun that way.
It sure is boring around here.
Yeah, the best one-liner.
Oh, there it is again.
Oh, I don't even like. I really want to know the thought process when they designed that. Just put some ropey things, a little octopus thingy, just walks around.
It looks like the thing that comes out of the party poppers. You know, those little like kid fireworks on 4th of July.
It's so
like,
true.
Oh, surprise! And this thief is there a lot too.
Who's that? What happens when you give him money?
I don't know. I never gave him money.
Oh no, boss.
This thing, well, not these ones, but like the big scary red one that stomps you at the end always scared me as a kid. When I was like 4, not like 12 or anything.
I always had a hard time dealing with that because I was like always too slow on my bow finger. So, oh no.
My whole
everywhere.
When this is the only game that was at my grandparents' house when I was little, so I used to play this a lot there too. I was probably too young to be playing Zelda. I was like 3, 4. My whole thing was hit it with the boomerang and then like smash it with a sword. So I couldn't use the boomerang on this thing, so I was kind of
well, fuck.
Out of yeah. I'm like crap.
Does it have some sort of significance?
They ask that for every tablet you get.
I mean, I risked my life for these things 7 times already, but does it have any sort of significance?
None at all.
You know, the thing that this game entirely is named after? What if that's the biggest twist? It actually doesn't, like, they're just tablets.
And then it was all a dream.
Yeah.
Oh, goodbye, good bee. Golden bee.
Such a great bee. I noticed there's like these weird loading times that I don't remember them being in the original game, unless they were, and I'm just forgetting.
I actually don't know.
I
never really noticed that before.
I don't think. See, look, like right there. There's a little pause, and right here. Yeah, I never noticed those in the original.
This is kind of a unique little puzzle.
See, now, is that the only way to get that?
Yes.
Now, you would not see that in an average Zelda game.
Every once in a while, this little game will surprise you. It'll throw something kind of cool your way.
Yeah, I like that. Like, that's pretty unique and creative. I like that.
Yellow tree.
Sometimes I think Zelda falls into that trap where it's like, I've done this so many times before in all the other games in the series, so whenever I see something that one of them does new, I guess technically this is pretty old, but you know what I mean.
This is a fun game also when you just want to play like a quick Zelda, you don't want to get too invested in it, especially the newer ones where you have to like go find your sword and all this stuff that takes a while to get going.
Twilight Princess takes forever to start.
Yeah.
I like Twilight Princess, but it's kind of hard to get into it for a new playthrough.
Yeah.
Oh noes. Can you actually push any of those? Nope, doesn't look like it. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Off the rock.
Random house. I always like that too in Zelda, especially like the older ones like this. It's just random people living in the wilderness and stuff, or like that set up shop here. Like, how successful is that business really? If you have to like go through all these monsters and this forest and crap.
Do you want to buy red potion or do you want to buy a shield? You have 2 options.
And then Walmart came to Hyrule.
And then if you try to buy the shield and you already have one, it's like, oh, select something else. What if you want 2? Creative puzzle.
That was very creative.
If you look at the arrow count, it's infinite now. So this is like one of the events that happens throughout here. Sometimes you have infinite arrows, sometimes infinite bombs, sometimes you'll just randomly ether spell, sometimes it rains and yeah.
See, with the thought process this game has got me in with that unique puzzle earlier, I thought you were going to use the sign to do something. I was about to be really impressed. But you didn't. You just threw that sign in the water. You rebel.
Maybe it'll be relevant later.
That's how you beat the final boss. It's actually unwinnable unless you did that.
Where's my sign? Like that guy in Link to the Past, where if you pick up the sign, he follows you.
Yo, you put that motherfucking thing back.
So here's actually something unique to this game. The golden potion refills everything, and it's cheap, but there's only one available for purchase per week. So ideally, you want to buy one every week and save it for when you really need it in like week 4. But it's not that hard anyway.
Have you ever had stuff like that in games where it's like, oh, I better save this for actually hard fight, but like you could use it now, but it's like, oh no, I might need it more later, and then you just
Exactly.
never use it.
Every time. Even if it's something in like, really early in the game, there's only like one, like the Hand-Aid and Earthbound. It's not even a particularly good item, but there's only one, so I always save it and never use it. Even though by the time like the end of the game, it's pretty much useless.
The Hand-Aid. Man, Earthbound's great.
It is. Oh, rental. So you can rent. The swords work differently in this game. You can like pay to get like a higher level sword for 10 minutes, or you can rent the shovel. So there's really no reason to do the sword, but the shovel's kind of cool. So you can just dig when you're bored and find stuff.
So I haven't played Link Between Worlds yet. Is the rental service in that similar to this, or are they different, or?
They're different because in Link Between Worlds, you're just kind of renting until you can buy it to keep. And then here, it's just kind of like, if you want to use this item, you can. Because the shovel is primarily for, if you look on the map, there's a little of the portion of the world open this week. On the southwest portion of it, there's a little X. So the narrator would say, like, go dig here because you're going to find a piece of heart. So that's why you do that. No. And I was retarded and didn't get enough. I started renting and buying potions, and I don't have enough for the flipper, so I'm gonna have to look around a little bit.
Ah, shame. Zora's.
How sad it is. Oh.
Stop hitting me with your sword.
Stop stabbing me in my home. Another day.
Yeah, they're just defending their land here. You're very clearly in the wrong. Oh, storming.
Now it's raining. So once we get out into the main world, there's gonna be Zoras everywhere. When it rains, Zoras, they walk the earth amongst us. That's so. Will you give me 300 rupees?
No. I know it's your birthday, or it was recently, but you're not that entitled, you motherfucker.
No one ever buys me anything. I'm just so sad all the time.
Oh, yep, there you go. It's walking on land.
Here's another thing, you have your level 1 fire sword, and these things take a lot more hits, so you really have to wait on these for a while.
Who told you could walk on land? I like that one that's just staring at you. It's not trying to shoot fire at you or anything. It's just like, I want to touch it.
The best AI. This is I think this is the first game in the series where you can change direction with the Pegasus boots, and they added that into the remakes of Link to the Past, but in the original you couldn't.
That was annoying.
You kind of need it here since time is of the essence, so maybe that's why they did
that's true.
And this is another thing, they drop 8 bombs, which is your whole stock, but they keep you pretty well replenished here.
That's good. Yeah. How much of a pain in the ass would it need to... Or how much of a pain in the ass would it be if you had to spend a lot of your time just grinding for rupees or bombs or arrows or whatever? That would suck.
Right. And you get a lot of rupees here, and with the shovel you can just pretty much just dig until you have as much as you need.
So this is something, actually, speaking of arrows and rupees, this is something I've always thought of, and I hear a lot of people that have never thought of this before, so I thought it'd be worth bringing up here. So in the original Legend of Zelda, you lose a rupee every time you use an arrow.
Mm-hmm.
I was always under the impression that Link was using his rupees as arrow tips, because they're kind of sharp at the end.
Oh, and I like that. Actually, that's kind of fun.
Because that's what I always thought. I thought he was making arrows out of it because, I don't know, because Hyrule seems kind of messed up at that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they can't really make arrows. So Link has to MacGyver together rupee arrows, and I always bring this up to people, and they're like, I never thought of that, and I'm like, really? Yeah. I just kind of assumed everyone did, because why else would you lose a rupee?
I'm gonna think of that every time from now on, though.
Yeah.
We're trying to find this damn heart. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, now that's something. There's no fucking way you're gonna find that on your own.
Right.
Man, I miss in Ocarina of Time when they had for like the shovel thing, they had the Dampe thing. It's like, do you want me to dig here? And it's like, just dig in the place that gives me the damn heart container, so I don't ever need to talk to you again.
Talking to people in Zelda is always a pain in the ass. I just want to wander around the world alone and stab things if you need be.
That seems pretty dark and edgy of you.
You might cut yourself on that edge.
Oh man.
Look at the little door. It has like a little heart on it. It's adorable.
Aww.
Into the rain.
Don't open the door. There are Zoras outside. Oh, okay. Hey, bye. Now you left the door open. Oh god.
They're coming. The call's coming from inside the house.
Link, we don't own a clown statue. Urban Legend of Zelda.
Yes. And this is probably derp because when it's raining, you can't...
Epona could lick too. There we go.
You can't bomb in the rain, and...
Okay, that's dumb, but... It makes sense, but that's dumb.
Too real.
Yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't make sense, because it's like... Well, actually, no, never mind, because, yeah, the fuse would go out. I was about to say you could cover the fuse with your hand, but then I'm like, wait, you'd blow it.
Quick, cover it with your body.
I wasn't thinking there, people. Oh, man, I'm stupid. So where are you going now? Where are you trying to get to?
I'm trying to find rupees.
Oh yeah, you still need
buy
enough for them. Yeah,
I don't think that one through. Die.
Epic
Plus,
duel.
just fun to see Zoras in weird places.
Yeah. You know what's something? Okay, so I always hated Adventure of Link. Like I never cared for the platforming stuff. But there is one thing there's one thing I kind of miss in that game, and that was those iron knuckles you would fight, where it was actually kind of like a duel type thing going on. You know what I mean? And I don't know why. I always kind of like that in video games, where you get to a point where there's an enemy that's like the same size as you, and it's just kind of like a showdown, like you versus that. Like in Ocarina of Time, the Dark Link fight, I always love that. Like well, I should say I had, because I sold my Nintendo 64 a few years back. I had a save file dedicated to right before the Dark Link fight, because I love that fight so much, just because it's like, this is a straight up duel.
Done that.
Yeah.
This is the moment we always want to play again. So, you still like the ether thing where just random ether that happens is like, there's some story or whatever, or there's an event. The bomb boss is particularly fun because when you're just like, doing your thing and then suddenly everything explodes.
Makes sense.
Well, like every time like in A Link to the Past or this when the boss dies, no matter what it is, it explodes and goes, oh. Like, why does everything explode and groan?
I love games like that. Like in Metal Gear Solid 3, every boss that you fight has like this explosive detonator nanomachine thing inside them that they can activate whenever the hell they want. So even if you take them out through like peaceful ways, or like you just tranquilize them, they give this long ass monologue, then they're like, I'ma just explode myself now, and it's like, whoa.
Rational decision.
Yeah. I mean, it fits within the story because like they're all kind of suicidal or like just fucked up, but like it's like, dude, you just blew yourself up. I didn't even really want to kill you that much. I tranquilized you. Then Zora's like, hey, this motherfucker's shoveling.
It's been raining for a long ass time.
I like to think this happens every time there's like a day of rain in Hyrule.
It's like a ritual and they all come.
It's like, oh shit, it's starting to rain, everyone get inside, oh my god. Start breathing fire on village houses.
Or the ritual. Oh, cloudy.
Oh, there we go.
The sign can live this time.
I always like how Super Nintendo games are so gratuitous with these layers.
It's not like on an emulator, you like peel them back and see like what's part of which layer.
Yeah, that's always fun too. Do you remember Chrono Trigger? When you went to the future, like 2300 AD, and you'd be fighting in the fog, but whenever the enemy had to use their laser move, the fog would disappear for the animation to play. I don't know if that was for every attack, but I just remember it happening with the robots that use the laser move.
Mode 7.
Oh my god.
Super Mario Kart, everything just flat and smooth looking.
I remember that and like blast processing, like all these words that never meant anything, but it's
Right.
like, oh shit, we need to sell it to the kids. Make sure they buy it over the other console.
Blast processing.
That
How
doesn't even
90s can
mean
you
anything.
get?
It doesn't mean anything.
Ah.
Take your damn flippers.
Oh no, and now it's 150, thanks.
Whoa.
So,
Why is it
I
all of
just
a
got
sudden 150? Is that from a timed thing?
I don't know. It might be, maybe it's just if you like rejected the first time or there's like a trigger thing, I don't know. But I got trolled multiple times by the Zoras.
Problem.
Fuck all y'all. So now we can go into see they put dungeons in really weird places in this game because they kind of ran out of like world dungeon places. So
Yeah, that's
there's just random
understandable.
dungeon.
Because there's only three. Honestly, there's only three dungeons in the light
Right.
world. Um, so that makes sense. I, I
Oh, complicated puzzle.
I always think it's kind of, and I think a few people will disagree with me on this. I think it's kind of not great that Nintendo seems to be very, very intense about having. It seems like most of their modern games having like two worlds or like two separate areas that are very different from each other,
Mm.
and like one half of the game takes place in this part and then the later half takes place in this part. I feel like honestly if they tried their hand at just making like a overworld and then just kind of like a more classic style, I think they could pull it off really well and they wouldn't have to worry about, oh, what gimmick should we have this time.
'Cause the new Zeldas, like the 3D Zeldas, I feel like a lot of times the overworlds are just kind of bland looking. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, everything in this overworld has a purpose. It's so much so that they're able to generate two games off of the Link to the Past overworld. There's this one, if you want to count it, and then there's Link Between Worlds, which is almost essentially like the same thing. Like, that overworld is still good. Everybody likes that overworld. It's memorable.
Do you did you get in did you get a Nintendo 64 around the time, like you're a little bit older than me, so did you get a Nintendo 64 around the time that it came out?
Yeah.
Did you get Ocarina of Time around the time it came out?
I don't think Ocarina of Time was around when that came out because it
Yeah.
wasn't around when the 64 came out.
Yeah, I know,
Yes,
but
yes, I did.
okay. Do you remember the first
'Cause
time you saw Hyrule Field? Like after leaving,
yes,
was wasn't your mind just blown?
yeah. It's like, where do I go? There's no path or anything. You could just like wander around,
Oh my God!
and I
Like,
did. Like I did most of the time I played that when I was younger. I really didn't go anywhere. I just kind of like wandering around, exploring
yeah,
things.
exactly. And that's something that I think no matter what you do, sadly, modern gaming isn't going to be able to emulate as easily because
Hmm.
like everything needs to be so linear now for games to sell, and that sucks. But I just remember as a kid because, in fact, I this was when I was 4. This is honestly my first introduction to gaming. I played Super Mario 64, and then my cousin's like, "Hey, want to play this other game?" I'm like, "No, I want to play Mario," and he's like, "No, this other game's better." So I'm like, "Okay," and then I played the beginning part of Zelda: Ocarina of Time with him pretty much guiding me through it and saying, "Oh, this is where you need to go. This is what you need to do." I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." And then all of a sudden, just Hyrule Field. Holy shit, where do I go? This is so big. Like,
Right.
it was so amazing being 4 years old, going through that. I loved it.
It's just like one of those that's one of those games and one of those things that is just such like it's an experience that everybody who's played it knows, kind of, you know.
Yeah, but only as a kid, and I feel bad because
Right.
there's so
Because
many
it's not
kids
right.
now that don't know that feel. Oh man, like
They don't know
it's
that feel, bro.
yeah, exactly. Like that makes me so bummed because that was it's such an amazing experience. And there's a reason people say Ocarina of Time is like the best game because when you played it as a kid, there was nothing
Yeah.
like it. Like it was a full-on adventure. It was amazing.
The 64, like, just in general, had a lot of that. Like, I mean, I'm sure when people have spent, like, many, many times trying to just, like, walk up those hills around Princess Peach's castle in Mario
Yeah.
64, like, I'm so close, I'm so close. Oh, no.
Yeah. I know that feel. I've done that. Man, I'm so glad though that those two games were like my what got me into gaming.
Hmm.
Because then I went home and I'm like, I want one of those. And they're like, oh, we have a Nintendo Entertainment System that's all dusty downstairs. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to play that. And then I got into Mario 1 and stuff, so.
I remember, like, even, like, on Super Mario World with the map screen, like, I'd see, like, things on the map. I'm like, there looks like there could be a dot there. There's
Yeah.
gotta be an exit around here. And I'd, like, go through and scour. I'm like, there's gotta be one here somehow. And sometimes, like, I don't know, I was like, if you had find one, I'm like, there it is. And I was be so happy. Or sometimes there'd be one where I wasn't expecting.
Have you ever had like a thing where you're playing a game and you wonder, or like you find something that you never knew about, or you wonder if there's something to be found, and then you're like, I
Hmm.
wonder if there's a thing in this game that no one ever has found before, like, you know.
Yeah. I
Actually,
like to think there is.
there's two things like that I always think about. For one of the Batman games, there is a hidden room that was so hard to find that the
Everything's
developers need.
exploding.
Oh Jesus, the developers needed to tell people on the internet, this is how you get into the secret room that no one found apparently. Like that blows my mind. Like if you knew what you were doing as a developer, you could totally put hidden shit that no one could ever find without hacking
Right.
the game. Oh god, I hate these things. So scary.
Fire fairy.
Oh, why does that thing remind me of Yoshi's? Oh, that you know what that looks like to me for some reason? In my mind, that looks a little bit like the Yoshi's Island or Yoshi's Story, like cursor thing, like when you're throwing the eggs. I could be
Oh,
wrong.
it does. It does kind of, because it's like red and cross shaped.
I should do a let's play of Yoshi's Story.
I like Yoshi's story.
So do I. People give it so much shit, and I know like the song thing with the oh is terrible, and like it's not necessarily as fun as Yoshi Island. I thought it was pretty fun.
I like getting the white shy guy and just like running around the background while you're with Yoshi's.
Oh man, so this dungeon is modeled after, I believe it's the third Light World dungeon, right?
This
The
is
original?
modeled after well, it's modeled after the second Dark World dungeon, the Watergate Palace.
Oh, okay, that's what I was
Well,
thinking.
for some reason, there's a mold worm and there's this random hole, so you can't really be knocked off, just knocked in. Because
Oh, guys, go on.
worms explode when they die, apparently.
Oh, hey, heart. Okay, bye. Damn, you caught that like a champ.
So now we have done everything that's really necessary for week 2. Does it
Mean week
have some
one?
kind of significance? Oh yeah, week 1. Dungeon 2, week 1.
Yay! Oh, piece of
And
heart.
there's just random heart.
All right. Wow, you already have quite a few hearts.
Krabby's back.
Hmm.
So from this point on, you can just kind of explore the world and
Chill
stuff.
out.
Mhm. And you see that you can. That means I'm assuming that means like witch or something in Japanese. You can just fly to random places and
Ah.
explore. You're supposed to, kind of use the time to, go find pieces of heart or rubies, things, little like, mini games that open up and just generally increase your score so that you're the best at all of Nippon. Be the best Zelda you can be.
Like no Zelda ever was.
Right.
Man, wasn't there another thing? Maybe this was only for the regular Super Nintendo and we just never got it. Wasn't there a game called like BS Zelda or something? And like it
Yes,
was that for Super Nintendo or was that for the Satellaview or whatever it's called
that
too?
was for us to Teleview too, and it was like a remake of the first Zelda with the characters like this one, and then there was like another one too. They had like some new dungeons in it.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I
So
guess that's it.
tune in for next week.
Will we ever find out what happened to that sign you threw in the water?
Maybe. I'll never tell.
Damn you.